In the latest example of Vice President Kamala Harris's polling surge, she is now in what some pollsters are calling striking distance of an unlikely state, Florida. A USA Today Suffolk University poll finding Harris 5 points behind Trump, 47% to 42%, just outside the poll's margin of error. But do Florida voters see right through her? For more, I want to welcome in the mayor of Miami, Francis Suarez. Good to see you this morning, Mr. Mayor. So the poll shows that the reason behind her jump in support is because of independent voters. Her leading among independents 41 to 34. What are you actually seeing, though, from Florida voters on the ground there? Do you buy this poll?
I'm not sure that I buy it. I think, look, Democrats are desperate to have Florida in play. There's been reports from Democratic pollsters, I might add, that Harris is winning in Dade County. Now, you have to understand the history of Dade County. Dade County, which is, where the city of Miami is has been traditionally a Democratic county. So, Hillary won it by 30 points. The president won it by 8 points. And now they're saying that Harris has a 14-point lead. But in the midterm, Governor DeSantis and Marco Rubio won it by 10 and 12 points respectively. So we saw this red wave in Florida, particularly with people moving in from out of the state, which seemed to be registering Republicans. So there was a massive Republican registration wave. All the indications are that the Democrats can't win Florida, but certainly the Democrats are trying to make that the case so that maybe Republicans put some more resources into Florida.
Yeah, and this all comes after recent numbers from a New York Times Siena College poll found Harris leading by 4 points in Michigan, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania. But CNN, of all places, was quick to point out that we should not count out Trump.
Kamala Harris's advantage in those New York Times Siena College polls were 4 points in each of these key battleground states, Michigan, Pennsylvania, Wisconsin. The bottom line is this. If you have any idea, if you're a Kamala Harris fan and you want to rip open the champagne bottle, pop that cork, do not do it. Donald Trump is very much in this race. If we have a polling shift like we've seen in prior years from now until the final result, Donald Trump would actually win. I'm not saying that's going to happen, but I am saying that he is very much in this ballgame based upon where he is right now.
So he's got a point, Mayor. These are just polls. They're not votes. Yet Democrats do seem to be popping the champagne, as he alluded to. What do you make of that?
Look, it's August, and this is a curveball insofar as, the Democrats pulled this incredible coup, where they put their nominee or their prospective nominee out there before anyone had ever seen a debate, saw him flounder, waited until the Republican convention, and then pulled a switcheroo, right? So, this is something that needs to play out. The vice president hasn't taken any questions from the media, which I think is incredibly telling. Everybody knows she was probably less likable than the president. And so some of those characteristics can't be hidden. There's a saying, you can fool all the people some of the time. And that's what she's trying to do, right? She's trying to stick to the prompter, not take any questions. We know the media is going to help her, right? We know the media to test, the former president, Trump derangement syndrome. It's an obsession. And so they're going to give her every advantage possible. But there's going to be a debate on September 10th. I think the president needs to, or the former president, Trump, needs to find the right footing, focusing on the fact that she's basically a socialist, right? She's the most extreme and liberal, senator in the Senate. And this is a message that will resonate with the American people. We're seeing what is happening with socialism across the world and how it's creating poverty. And frankly, Bidenflation, which is part of this administration, has created poverty among the poorest people in our country. And that's the working class, which is what Donald Trump did such a good job connecting with.